Welcome back, everybody. Another great episode here for you. Another monologue where I get the opportunity to just kind of talk to you one-on-one about some of the things that are going on in my life and hopefully some things that are going to bring value to you as a business owner, you as an individual, a partner in your relationships. This is really our opportunity to be able to talk to one another and hopefully bring some improvement to each other's lives. Now, every single time I do one of these, I try to come up with a topic that either I have conquered and I feel like, hey, I've really got a grasp on, or I'm working on currently myself and I want to work it through with you. Today's topic is the latter of those two. And I am working on this because I feel it to be a very important part of growing a business, a very important part of growing any successful relationship, whether that's professional or personal. And I want to talk today about core values, everyone. What are your core values? Now, before you go turning this off, I want everyone to start to think about this. Do you know your core values? Because for many, many years, I didn't. I didn't even know where to start when I thought about core values. In fact, if I was really honest with you, I kind of thought they were a real sham. They were just the things that people put on their wall in a conference room so they could feel better about themselves. But there weren't things that people actually would follow. I think that was because I walked into so many businesses with what we did at Blue Collar Media Group and what we continue to do that I was jaded by the process. I saw people that were dishonest and they had the words like integrity matters all over their conference room. I'm sure that you've met these individuals. I met constant people who would talk about doing business the right way, but then behind the back, they're cheating on their wife and you know about it. And so I thought about core values as something that were really a sham. And I didn't understand why they were necessary in a business. Now, as of late, I've begun to change my tune about this because I do believe that core values are necessary if you're going to go from, let's say, 1 million, 2 million to your 10 to 15 million. Now, why do I say that? When you're an owner operator and you've got a few employees or you've got, you plus a few people and 1099s, whatever you want to call it, it is much easier to keep your culture. It's you. You're involved in every decision. You're involved in every conversation. And so it really is you who dictates where things go. However, as you get larger, as you grow further away from the business, working in it and working on it, you have to have core values that other people can take upon themselves, that they can counterweight their decisions against. Failing to do this means that you're going to be leaving yourself to ambiguity, which you don't want to do as you grow a business. I assure you, what you think is common sense is not going to be common sense to the individuals that you hire. And this is why core values are extremely important. So before we go into it, I have to first give you a definition of what actually a core value is in your business. It's the fundamental beliefs that guide and shape a company's culture, decisions, and interactions. Now, when I first heard that, I thought, okay, well, I know how I'm going to make a decision. I'm always going to do the right thing, or I'm always not going to lie. And so I thought those were core values. In reality, they aren't. And so what I want to talk to you about now is where is a good place to even find what a core value is to you? The first thing I'm going to tell you is this: define what you are not first, and you'll discover who you are. Let me give you an example. If I was to tell you I am not somebody who will ever cheat on my wife, I know that. It's very easy for me to know that. But what that inevitably does very slightly is it tells you, well, I'm a loyal person. It is much easier as an individual to define what you are not and let that define who you are. A lot of us, like me, when I start saying the good things that I am or the core values that I have, I feel a little like, oh man, I got a little stuck up, or I'm a little better than other people. I don't want to feel that way. Like, who am I to say that? And so one of the ways that you can begin to figure out who you are is first define who you are not. And then what I want you to do is I want you to put these I believe, we believe statements into effect. So I'm going to give you an example. There were 3 areas that I started core values in. And if you're just getting started in the process, I suggest starting here as well. The first is going to be professional. Second is personal, your relationship with yourself. And the third, in my case, is the relationship I have with my girlfriend. Now, with you, it could be your fiance, it could be your wife, it could be a friend that you're close with. But what it is a personal relationship that you have with another individual. So again, professional, personal, and then a relationship. And so I've got them written down right here, and I'm going to go through how you use these I believe or we believe statements. And then what I'd like you to do is try to apply it to yourself. Let me get started here. Professional. We believe at Blue Collar Media Group in providing 100% effort to every project. We do not lose sight that our clients have trusted us with hard-earned money. Their investment deserves the best every time, no exceptions. Now, is that a little bit long? Yeah. I'd like to keep it somewhere around maybe 10 words, somewhere around in there so I can always remember it. But I never lose sight of this core value, that we always give 100% effort, never losing the sight that our clients have trusted us with their hard-earned money. Now, for me, that speaks volumes. I get a little bit fired up just thinking about it right now. Let me move on to the personal. This is me. I believe a man should burden himself with the greatest weight possible in pursuit of his purpose. Now, if you know anything about me, folks, you know I believe this. I believe that sometimes in life you've got to bear the cross that you were told to bear. And that God, if you knew how much you could take, the Lord has such amazing plans for you in your life, that you are purposely put here to do something great, and that as a man, you must put that burden on your back and carry it, and there is a purpose-driven life for you when you do that. It's not easy, but I believe it in my heart. And then finally, my relationship. I am committed to supporting her unconditionally and taking action to show my love and appreciation. Her happiness and her well-being are my only top priority. And I make sure that my partner knows she is number one. She always will be number one. Not work, not anything. I do it because I want to look out for her well-being. And so what I've done here is I've established core values that I have in my personal life, my relationship, and my professional life. Now, that's not enough, though. You can't stop there. And so if you're driving your car, you're listening to this in the kitchen, you're done with work, you're on your way to work, whatever it is, it's the weekend, you're just at the gym, and you're just listening to this right now. Core values are enough. I believe, we believe statements are not going to be enough for you to take your company to 10 or 5, 10x, wherever you want to go right now. The real thing that you got to do, here's what becomes difficult, is standards. Standards are what are the foundation for your core values. Without standards, you can't have core values. What do I mean by this? Well, let me give you an example of standards that we put in place to uphold the core value. And here's the key with standards. The big difference is that standards are measurable. You must measure yourself against your standards as the foundation of your core values. I'm going to walk through one. Professional. Remember, we said that we believe in providing 100% effort here. We know that our clients are giving us their hard-earned money. So what does 100% effort look like? What is a standard for that? It is this: scripts. Scripts must be written for every client every time. Well, why? Blue Collar Media Group, we do media production for companies. Well, because we know that when a client has a script, they're going to perform better. We know that the video is going to turn out more professional. It's going to be a better video. And so if we are giving 100% effort to our clients, we know that we must provide them with a script so that they can be prepared to be successful on the shoot. If we're not doing that, if we can't say every time that we're going to do that for a client, then we're going to lose. And that means we're not upholding the core value that we have in this company. Another standard might be the way that we dress. Another standard could be, do we use our cell phone on set? These are measurable things that work you towards achieving your core value day in and day out. You set standards in place to be the floor so that you have a high ceiling. If not, you're just constantly falling here. These are the things that you put into place. You could call them the rules in your company. A big one for me, we show up at 8 a.m. here, not 8:01, not 8:02. It is a standard that I have set in my company. If you do not have standards in your company, you have no core values, because they are what is upholding the core value. They are what is making sure that people are accountable to what you want to see happen, the vision that you have as an entrepreneur. So ask yourself this: great, I have a vision, I have a core value. Now, what am I going to do? What measurable steps am I going to put in place that is going to ensure that that core value is upheld every single day? That's where you start. So let's make some second one here, personal. I wake up at 5:30 every single morning. I go to the gym 5 days a week. I read every single day. Now, let me ask you this. If a man should burden his greatest weight possible in pursuit of his purpose, aren't those things that you would do? Wouldn't you get up in the morning and you'd say, I'm going to go tackle my day? If you're going to burden that weight, isn't your body going to have to be healthy in order to do that? Of course it is. And number 3, you know what? I'm going to read. I'm going to feed my mind with something that's actually going to have some purpose to it, that's going to drive me closer to my goal. I need to learn new information if I'm going to achieve new things. And then the fine thing is my relationship. I'm going to text her every morning. I'm going to always ask her how her day is. And every Sunday, I'm going to ask the same question. What do you need from me this week? And so these are standards that I have put in place in my personal, professional, and relationship life that are going to make sure that the core values are upheld. And so these two things go together. And if you don't hear anything else, I want you to start to think about this today is that, great, I might have a vision, but what is upholding that vision? Do you have low core values, or do you perhaps have low standards that you set in your company? You know, I fell victim to this not too long ago. I realized that I was not at times upholding the standards in my own company. Now, that's not to say, we probably have more than a few standards. So some things slip through the cracks. That's not acceptable. When you let standards slip through the cracks, when you show favoritism, when sometimes maybe one rule is upheld and another one is not, you get inconsistency. And when you start to get that, I'm telling you what's going to follow is anarchy and chaos within a company and your personal life. I want to give you some examples here of how this has been used in businesses that you probably are familiar with, but have never thought it had to do with a core value or a standard that they have. I want to start here. I've got it written down, the Ritz-Carlton, okay? Their core value is we are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. So what happens is their core value is emphasizing respect, excellence, world-class customer service. Now, their standard ensures that they're going to deliver on that. And here's the standard. Every employee is empowered to spend $2,000 per guest on the spot to resolve an issue. Now, if you were working for the Ritz-Carlton, wouldn't you feel like you are a lady or a gentleman serving a lady or a gentleman if you had the power to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to take care of that for you. I'm going to get that done for you right now. I'm not going to have to go get a manager. I'm a lady or a gentleman serving you and making your life better. Imagine the power that those individuals must feel. Imagine how good they must feel to be able to help somebody in front of them and the guest experience that comes with that. Because now somebody right there feels important. They feel like a lady or a gentleman. And so what you're doing is you're taking care of the people and they're taking care of the customer. It's a great example of how you have core values and standards working together. Let me give you another one. Walt Disney World Parks. If you've been to Disney, you know it is an experience. Their core value, we create magical experiences for every guest every single time. Their standard, every cast member is a performer and the park is the stage. Now, a lot of you may not know this, but I actually worked for Disney when their college program is what it's called. People who live in Florida know exactly what this is. It's Disney's, in my opinion, way of getting some cheap labor out there. But it's a great experience for college students, and it catapulted me to be able to work for Marriott for a number of years, so no complaints. But people are drinking the Kool-Aid. And one of the things that a lot of individuals don't realize is that Disney has a university on campus. In this university, they have fake check-in areas and rooms for people to be able to actually practice the craft. They have a parking lot that shows people how you're going to, move cars when it's time to do them in Magic Kingdom, so that they're not sending somebody out there for the first time having never done anything remotely close to what they're going to have to do in a Disney park or hotel. When I went there, one of the things that was just so shocking to me was that they had this thing about being on stage. This is absolutely true. You were always what they called on stage. And that was when you went from backstage, let's say behind the curtain or behind a door in a shop, and you walked out there onto Main Street in Magic Kingdom. You were looked at like a performer. It wasn't just the people that were wearing a Mickey costume. It was every single employee who wore the name tag. They were a performer. And so you were out there and you looked at yourself as somebody who was being watched because of that. Imagine for a second that you had a camera crew following you around everywhere you went. Imagine for a second that you knew people were watching you wherever you went or whatever you said. Wouldn't you act differently if that was the case? I bet you would. I mean, think about that today. Would you make the decisions that you have made if you knew a camera crew was following you around or the eyes were on you? I bet you would have a tough time doing that. And so Disney understood it, and they drilled it into your head at Disney University that when you step foot out there onto that magic kingdom, or you step foot from behind that counter and somebody can see you in a resort, you are on stage. You're a performer, and it stuck with you, and you governed yourself accordingly. And so Disney had this vision. They had a core value. And then what they did is they made sure they had a standard that upheld it. And so that's what I want to leave you with today. As you go out into your day, I want you to think about this. I believe statements, we believe, which are going to fundamentally show you what your core values are. And then ensure you have standards put in place that will make sure that those core values are upheld. If you can do this, I'm telling you, you're going to be in a better place in that personal, that relationship, or that professional life. Start right there. It won't be overwhelming. And I hope that you can get something positive out of it. Thank you so much for joining us here on The Patrick Carr Show. We appreciate it each and every time. If you got some value out of this, drop a comment below, and of course, subscribe to our channel. We come out with these monologues quite a bit. I love doing them. It's my chance to talk directly to you. Thank you so much. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.